Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. Welcome back to another new lesson of distance learning program. My dear students, boys and girls, Alhamdulillah, we have completed our syllabus for midterm exams today and tomorrow. Inshallah, we will be recalling some of the basic concepts of coordinate geometry. This is chapter number 6 of your maths book 3. So let's start. So my dear students, I hope you all are doing good and enjoying early winters at home. So this is our today's topic, coordinate geometry. My dear students, as you all know, my name is Sayyid Faraz Hassan, and with me I have my team, the team of subject specialists, Sir Ashraf Ali and Ms. Shabana Salman. So, my dear students, our learning objective for today, by the end of this lesson, you will be able to recall and review the concepts of a gradient of a straight line, finding the length of the line segment, the midpoint of a line, equation of a straight line, and a gradient of a parallel and perpendicular lines. So, let's have a recap. We have learned these formulae earlier. Gradient of a straight line. This is the ratio of the vertical change and the horizontal change. We also call gradient as a slope, and we represent it with the letter M. M is equals to the difference of the y-axis values, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Or you may also write it as y1 minus y2 upon x1 minus x2. You can write it in both ways. All right, the length of the line segment, this is also called the distance between the 2 points. So we represent it with the letter D, D for distance, and the formula which we have been using, y2 minus y1, the whole square, plus x2 minus x1, the whole square, right? Equation of a straight line. We find the equation of the straight line with the formula y is equals to mx plus c. All right, where c is the y-intercept, m is the gradient. Midpoint of the line, m for midpoint, the coordinates x comma y equals. It's the average of the x-axis values, x1 plus x2 upon 2, comma, y1 plus y2 upon 2. That is the average of the y-axis values. So the midpoint of the line mx comma y equals to x1 plus x2 upon 2, comma, y1 plus y2 upon 2. Gradient of a perpendicular line. Remember, we spoke about that, the gradient of a perpendicular line. There are two ways to find this gradient. Either you can use the formula, the product of the gradient m1, m2 equals to minus 1, or you can do it mentally, directly, as the gradient m2 of a perpendicular line is the negative reciprocal of the other line. That is negative reciprocal. Right? Or if you can also use this formula, m1 multiplied by m2 equals minus 1. You can do in either ways. You can do it mentally by using the concept of negative reciprocal, or you can plug in the value of the first gradient m1 in the formula, and by cross multiplying m1 on the other side, you get the value of m2, that is the gradient of the perpendicular line. So let's do questions related to this. So dear students, here are the 2 points. A, 0, comma 0, this is also called origin, and B, negative 2, comma 1. So we can find the distance between these 2 points, that is the length of the, let's suppose this is line AB, okay, 0 comma 0, and the coordinates of B are negative 2 comma 1. Okay, let's suppose this is a line. Now we can find the length of the line segment D. That is what the formula we have learned, y2 minus y1 the whole square plus x2 minus x1 the whole square. So dear students, we can plug in these values. We can consider this as x1 y1. We can consider this as x2 y2. Now y2 minus y1 is 1 minus 0 the whole square plus minus 2 minus 0 the whole square, and it has the whole root on it. So 1 minus 0 is 1 square plus negative 2 square. So 1 square is 1, negative 2 square is 4. So we have square root 5 units. This is the length of the line segment AB. You can also use your calculator to evaluate this root 5, and you can also give your answer in decimals. Okay, boys and girls. Now what else we can find of this line? We can also find the midpoint of the line, M for midpoint, and we have learned a formula, midpoint mx comma y equals x1 plus x2 upon 2. That is, I told you, it's a average of the x-axis values, y1 plus y2 upon 2. That is the average of the y-axis values. So dear students, let's plug in these values. 0 plus minus 2 upon 2, comma, and 0 plus 1 upon 2. So let's simplify this. 0 minus 2 is minus 2. Minus 2 upon 2 is minus 1, comma. 1 upon 2 is half. That is 1 upon 2. So these are the coordinates of the midpoint of the line AB. All right, dear students. So this is the midpoint. This is the distance. Now finding gradient of a line. Finding gradient of a line. Gradient of line AB. So this is represented by the formula m equals to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. We have the coordinates there. We can plug in these values again. Y2 is 1, y1 is 0, and x2 is negative 2 minus 0. So we can simplify this. We have the gradient as m is equals to minus 1 upon 2. All right, dear students. So what else we can find? We can also find the equation of line. Equation of line AB. So we know that we find the equation of line with the formula y equals mx plus c, where c is the y-intercept. We're going to plug in the value of m. We're going to plug in the value of x and y so that we can find the y-intercept c. So let's put x comma y. I'm putting this value of a, 0 comma 0. The value of y is 0. The value of the gradient m we just found as negative half. Again, the value of x is 0. So dear students, we can simplify this. 0 is equals to 0 plus c. That is c is equals to 0. Y-intercept is 0. Therefore, required equation of line y equals mx plus c. That is, we're going to plug in the value of m as minus 1 upon 2x plus 0. So y equals to minus 1 upon 2x. This is our equation of line. All right, dear students, what else we can find? We can find the gradient of a perpendicular line. gradient of perpendicular line. So boys and girls, what we have learned, the gradient of the perpendicular line is the negative reciprocal. So what will be the negative reciprocal of minus 1 upon 2? So the when we it's minus, and the reciprocal of 1 upon 2 is 2 upon 1. So negative and negative becomes positive. We have the negative reciprocal of minus half as positive 2. So this is the gradient of a perpendicular line. So dear student, what we have recalled? We have recalled the length of the line segment, that is length AB we have calculated here. Then we calculated the midpoint. This is it. Then we calculated the gradient of the line AB. Then we calculated the equation of the line AB. And finally, we found the gradient of the perpendicular line M2 by making it a negative reciprocal, as M2 is equals to 2 was our answer. So I hope your concepts are all clear now. Let's move on to the next question. So, my dear students, this is another question, just a review for you guys. The coordinates of the 3 points are A, negative 1 comma negative 6, B, 3 comma negative 12, and C, K comma 6. What you are asked to find the equation of the line AB, part B, find the value of K if points A, B, and C are collinear. Now, find the value of K means they have given us a variable K in this. That is, we are required to find. In the first part, equation of the line AB. So, how do we find equation of line AB? We find with the formula y equals mx plus c, where we know that m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept. How do we find gradient of the line AB? We find the gradient with the formula y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So let's plug in these values of x1, y1, x2, y2. This is your x1, this is your y1, this is your x2, this is your y2. So negative 12 minus minus plus 6 and 3 minus minus plus 1. So dear student, what do we have? We have now negative 6 upon 4. We can simplify this with 2 times table. 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4. So our gradient is negative 3 upon 2. Right? Now what is required? Equation of lines. We're going to plug in this as negative 3 comma 2. For x and y, we can plug in the value of coordinates a, negative 1 comma negative 6. So we have negative 6 equals negative 3 upon 2, and x we have as negative 1 plus c. Now we can find out the value of the y-intercept. So negative 6 equals negative negative positive 3 upon 2 plus c. 3 upon 2 moves on this side, becomes negative 3 upon 2 is equals to c. We can take the LCM here as 2. So 2 6 are 12, negative 12, negative 3 makes negative 15 upon 2. That is your C. Now equation of line will be, required equation of line will be y equals to mx plus c. Finally, we will be plugging in the value of m and c. So we have y equals, the gradient is negative 3 upon 2 x, and the y-intercept is negative 15 upon 2. Now dear students, you see that there are two denominators and both the denominators are the same, 2 and 2. So you can take the LCM of 2 and 2, that will be 2, and you can cross multiply it on the other side. So finally you have your equation in this form: 2y equals negative 3x negative 15. So this is the correct form of equation of line. I hope your concept is clear and you have recalled it again. So this is another part. Find the value of k if the points A, B, and C are collinear. Now remember, we spoke about this word collinear. What are collinear points? Collinear points are those points that lies on the same line, or that lies on the same surface, that lies on the same level. So collinear points are the same points that lies on the same line. And always all collinear points have the same value of the gradient. All right? The same value of the gradient everywhere. That it means that the gradient of AB equals to gradient of BC, or the gradient of AC equals to gradient of BC. Okay? So collinear points have same gradient. So what we're going to do in order to calculate the value of the unknown k, that is what we are going to do. We're going to equate their gradients, right? So gradient AB equals gradient BC. So how do we find gradient? With the formula y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. And for this also again the same formula applies here, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So the gradient AB we just found in the previous part as negative 3 upon 2. Okay? So we're going to plug in the value directly, or we can do it. If you want to do it again, you can do it again as we have done it earlier. So I'm just plugging in the value as negative 3 upon 2. Now the gradient BC. So if this is x2, y2, let's suppose this is as x1, y1. So let's plug in the value again, negative 12, negative 6, y2 minus y1 upon 3 minus k. Okay, so now what do we have? We have negative 3 upon 2 equals negative 12, negative 6 makes negative 18 upon 3 minus k. So dear students, now in order to simplify this k, what you need to do, you need to cross multiply the two denominators on the other sides. So minus 3 multiplied by bracket and 2 multiplied by minus 18. So 2 multiplied by minus 18 makes minus 36. And minus 3 multiplied by 3 is minus 9. 3 3s are 9. And negative 3 multiplied by negative k is positive 3k. Okay, now still k is unknown. 3k equals negative 36, and when this negative 9 moves on the other side becomes positive 9. So negative 36 and positive 9. Minus 36 plus 9 makes the difference is minus 27, sign of the bigger number, right? Cross multiply this 3 on the other side. So we have k is equals to minus 27 upon 3. 3 ones are 3, 3 nines are 27. So our answer is k is equals to minus 9. I hope your concept is all clear now. So dear students, what we have reviewed today, about the gradient of a straight line. We use the formula m equals to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. We have learned about how to find the length of the line by using the distance formula. We have learned how to find equation of the straight line, and we have also found the gradient of a parallel and the perpendicular line. Remember, all parallel lines have same gradient, and for perpendicular lines we have a gradient negative reciprocal. Right? So thank you, dear students, for being active learners. You all are expected to do the homework worksheet, which I will be posting either today or tomorrow. That will be your last homework worksheet. And this will be for all learners, whether you are virtual or you are regular learner of the school. You need to submit it in the Google Classroom. This is the last homework worksheet, and this will be marked as your OGA, right? So thank you, students, and you are expected to leave a response. Have a nice day. Take a good care of yourself and do study. this is the peak time, this is the high time. You can do this. Okay, in these 7 8 days, you can do a lot of revision and you can score good marks. So you are the best, second to none. See you all again tomorrow. Until then, Allah Hafiz.